Welcome friends to another r/Am I the Jerk here video. Would you be the jerk for walking out on someone's wedding? We'll find out, but first a story from Yes I Said That. Am I the jerk for changing all the locks in my house without letting my mom know? When I, 23-year-old male, was 15, my dad died. My mom, 45, didn't wait too long to start over and moved her new partner in just 2 months later. My dad left everything to me and not even a dime to her. They weren't married. My dad's will was structured so that she couldn't challenge it, and she attempted and even asked me to pass over one of my properties to her to show my new dad that he was welcomed. I couldn't even if I wanted to, because my dad's will specified that I must be 21 to have access to everything he left me. This dude had kids, 18-year-old male, 19-year-old female, their ages now, and my mom prioritized them to keep him happy. I mean, she wasn't like abusive or neglectful, but she tended to favor them. They went on trips, and even if she didn't tell me not to go, she'd say something between the lines as, "Wouldn't you like to go to your grandparents? My dad's better." I mean, I'm not stupid. I know she didn't want me there. When I turned 17, she asked me to leave my own house because I kept fighting with her dude. And I also reminded him of whose house it was when he wanted to play the man of the house. I also called him John Conroy. My parents told me to avoid confrontations, so I went to live with them. My mom would visit me often and tell me how much she loved me, but she needed to keep peace at home. After college, I decided to check my properties and also the one that my mom's living at. I wanted to renovate it to rent it since it's a good one and can help me to afford my master's. I went there to inform my mom, but no one was there. Later, I found they went on vacations. I called her, but she didn't answer. So I proceeded to change the locks, mainly to officially take possession. They arrived yesterday and couldn't get in, of course. They called me, but I wasn't in the town. I went today because some renovation works will start in a few weeks. I was in the backyard, and my mom came in furious, yelling at me saying how dare I do that. So we talked, and I let them know they have 2 weeks to leave. Her husband, an self-employed, was furious. My mom and her stepdaughter started crying because the girl's pregnant. I'm sorry, but I made up my mind. My mom's family's shaming me, but I'd like to know if you think I'm the jerk. My mom called me today saying we can talk. Considering the entire time this is OP's property that they own, I don't think they can be the jerk for wanting to take control of their property regardless of who's living in there. Secondly, OP was kicked out of their own property when they were younger by their own mom. So would you guys agree with me that OP has every right to kick them out in return now and take control of their property? Let me know if you guys agree with me in the comments down below. Our next story is from No Material 4161. Am I the jerk for not letting my neighbors access our pool? My spouse, 45, and I, 46, bought a house in February with a pool. It's a non-HOA single-family home. We keep it for ourselves. We have friends over occasionally, and we've enjoyed having people over for food, drinks, and of course swimming pool parties now that the weather allows for it. We fit in the neighborhood, or so we thought, until neighbors from 3 surrounding homes and us got into a weird conversation around their expectations to access the pool for weekend and holiday pool parties. Apparently the owners before us had kids and were friends with the neighborhood kids. The neighborhood kids and adults would use the pool when they wanted to. The gate was always open, and they even had their inflatables nearby and had arranged paying for the maintenance of the pool. We told them that we're fairly private people, and we enjoy our privacy and don't see ourselves letting neighbors have access to our backyard whenever they want. Each time any of us are wandering around outside, they just ask over and over and try to sell the idea of having access to it. They offer money and sharing the maintenance fees and such. I was trying to enjoy gardening and was cornered once again. I just really firmly told them that they really need to stop talking about the pool each time they see us, stood up, and left. As I was walking back towards the gate to the backyard, within our property line, they were following me talking my ears off. One of the ladies/moms was still going on and on because she asked nicely and offers to pay for the maintenance and that she really didn't understand why I was so against it. I turned around and asked them to leave now and never follow me on my property ever again. We politely decline over and over, and we're seriously getting tired of the nagging and the pool and their access to it being the only thing they want to connect with us about. It's not like we created a bond or anything. All convos are about the pool. We had a party yesterday evening, and as I was showing the front yard to my friend, my neighbor popped up and was talking about how it must be nice to be invited to enjoy the pool. And I said to her, "Can you go now? I'm having company." Am I the jerk for not wanting neighbors to have access to my property and seriously losing my patience with their expectations? I think OP is definitely not the jerk, and frankly, their situation sounds a little nightmarish. They move into a new house, hopefully they like it, got a nice pool in the backyard, they want to enjoy it, and then it's like any second you step outside, you're just getting harassed by your neighbors constantly like, "Let us use your pools at all hours of the day. It sure would be nice if you gave us unbridled access to your pool." At what point does OP start building a legal case for a harassment charge? Our next story is from AITA Throwaway Twin. Am I the jerk for screaming at my sister at my engagement party? I, 28-year-old female, am getting married in 6 months to my fiancé, 30-year-old male. The wedding will be really small, only close family and friends, and we've had a quick engagement just because we've been together for so long, 8 years. Now, I have an identical twin sister, M. Despite us being twins, M and I have never been close due to M's seemingly pathological need to be better than me at everything. Ever since we were little, she's had to be the better twin at everything. If I wanted to do a sport, she had to do the sport too. If I showed an interest in a hobby, she had to excel at that hobby. Our parents always made a point of letting us find our own personalities outside of being twins. So M's behavior made it hard growing up. It got worse in high school when I started to date. Any boy I showed an interest in, she had to get there first. It didn't matter if she liked him or not. It only stopped when I moved away for university. I got into my first choice. M applied but didn't get the grades. I moved away, found my own personality, and met my now fiancé. I've hardly seen M over the past few years except for Christmases and our birthday. It all came to a head at my engagement party last month. I invited my family and, unknown to me, my mother had told M what kind of outfit I was wearing. She came in a dress almost exactly like mine but more glamorous. Her hair and makeup had been professionally done, and she did look incredible. I tried to ignore it as it was a celebration for me and my fiancé. The night went well until M decided to make a speech. Side note, M is not a bridesmaid. I'm only having my best friend from university as a bridesmaid. The whole speech was about us being twins, doing everything together, and how much I'd always tried to be just like M. She joked about the boys I dated, made a dig at not being a bridesmaid because OP's probably worried I'd steal her thunder, and rounded it off by saying, "If you get tired of her, you know where I am," to my fiancé. I saw red, grabbed her by the arm, and dragged her into the hallway. Now I'll admit, I swore a lot while screaming at her and had no idea everyone at the party could hear. I ripped into M and called her a psychotic, jealous runt who couldn't stand the idea of her sister being happy. I also yelled about how if she hadn't spent our entire lives pretending to be me, she wouldn't be single, unemployed, and still living at home. I rounded it off by telling her to screw off and not bother coming to my wedding, as I didn't want a pathetic waste of DNA there. Harsh words, but I was really mad. Since then, several family members, including my mother, have called me a jerk for embarrassing M at a family party, and for bringing up sensitive subjects such as her unemployment. I'm refusing to back down on her not being there, despite nearly my entire family telling me to get over myself. Am I the jerk? It's easy for all of these family members to say OP's the jerk from the outside looking in, not having to go all their lives with somebody that has tried to upstage them every step of the way, and not only upstage them but try to take these things that OP's trying to achieve before OP can achieve them themselves. By the way, if you're enjoying these stories, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below so you never miss any of my daily videos. Every single video has awesome stories like our next story from SafeAmoeba8327. Am I the jerk for laughing at what my son said and not saying something to him? My son, 15, was talking to my ex, his dad, while playing video games the other night. He rarely talks to him due to his dad not making an effort. He hasn't seen his dad in almost 3 years, even though he only lives 5 miles away. They were talking and yelling, and I walked past the living room to the kitchen to put some dishes in the sink and wash the dishes, and overheard them. I told my son that when he's done playing games with his dad, to get the Coke cans from his room, so the ex knew I was in the room. Well, they keep playing, and then my son yells at his dad, "You suck worse than Kyle," over something his dad did in the game. Kyle is my boyfriend of 2.5 years. X asks, "Who's Kyle?" I don't talk to my ex unless it's an emergency. If he wants to talk to the kids, they're all teens and have a phone. I also don't care what they tell him, as I have nothing to hide from him. I kind of just assumed they mentioned Kyle before to him. My son looks at me, I look back at him, and shrug, basically telling son to tell dad who Kyle is. My son tells his dad, "Your replacement." There's a pause. Both my son and I bust up laughing. X hangs up suddenly. Later, my ex messages me to complain that I was a terrible mom to allow my son to say that, and I should have told him about Kyle when I started dating him. We've been divorced 9 years. So am I the jerk for not responding when my son called my boyfriend his dad's replacement and then dying laughing? I think OP's definitely not the jerk. Is it possibly painful for the dad to experience that? Sure, but they abandoned their kid. They've made no effort to try to be a part of their lives besides minimal effort while playing a video game. They live only 5 miles away and they haven't visited in 3 years. I think if that's the way the kid feels, that's the way the kid feels, and frankly, in that situation, it is kind of funny. This next story is from Throwaway Key 56. Am I the jerk for refusing to give my son's dad a copy of the key of my new home? My ex-husband, 31, and I, 30, divorced 2 years ago. We share custody of our 5-year-old son. I moved out before the divorce and lived with my mom for a while. Recently, I bought a 1-story house using my dad's inheritance, and I moved in with my mom and my son very recently. His father comes to pick him up and then drop him off on certain days. After I moved into the new house, he had a conversation with me about wanting a copy of the key to the house. I felt weirded out by this request, but he explained that since I'm at work whenever he drops our son off, he needs the key to get in and make our son something to eat and or prepare his bed. I told him I have my mom there and she takes care of that. He said it's not up to me and that he would like to have full access in any place his son is at. I got upset and called him ridiculous. He lashed back, calling me unreasonable and that him getting a copy of the key was supposed to be a no-brainer, and said he didn't even understand how this was a debate. I told him to leave, but he got his mom involved and she kept scolding me about trying to limit her son's access to his own child and acting stubborn about the key thing when this house was supposed to be the common area for us since my son lives here, so his dad should have access to it. I refused, and mom started arguing with his mom, which caused a huge mess. I feel like my joy in the new house is now ruined, but I'm unsure if he has a valid argument here. I think OP is not the jerk, and the bottom line here is it's OP's home. If they don't want their ex-husband in there or having a key to their house, they have every right to enforce that. And like OP's expressed, they have ample care there for their son, so their "I need to be in there to help take care of them and put them to bed blah blah blah" excuse isn't valid. Our next story is from Left Degree 2975. Am I the jerk for laughing when my ex's wife complained to me? X cheated on me with his current wife. That was 5 years ago. X and I share 3 sons who are 11, 10, and 8. X's wife has a daughter and a son with her ex, who she also cheated on with my ex. The two of them have said it all, from "it was meant to be" to how great it is because the kids all have a bigger and happier family, blah blah blah. I'm over it in some ways. There's very much a sting that the affair partner in my marriage gets to call herself my kid's stepmom, but I'm not all that sorry that my ex is gone. The man slept with her behind my back for 18 months before her husband and I found out. I'm civil when the kids are around. I ignore them when the kids aren't around. This whole thing happened over ex's parents. They were disgusted with him for cheating. Mother-in-law told him that he destroyed his kid's foundation, that leaving a spouse is never easy and divorce is hard for kids anyway, but when you add conflict in the way of cheating, you take something from a child that they can rarely ever get back. And that's parents who can still care about each other and want the best for each other despite not being together. They stayed very close with me and haven't welcomed X's wife at all, nor have they been involved with X's life since, really, or his stepkids. It bothers her a lot. My youngest son won an award in school a couple of weeks ago. X and his wife were there, so was I. X's wife ended up coming up to complain to me because both mine and X's parents showed up briefly, spoke to my son, then to me, and left. She was saying how unfair it was, how her kids don't understand why X's family have nothing to do with them and why they never see them, but they know my kids don't have a relationship. She said X's family love me, it hurts her feelings to not feel good enough. I'll be honest, I rolled my eyes first, but then I laughed because she seemed to expect sympathy or help from me. Laughing at her pissed her off. I've heard from her and my ex since that I was rude. I should care about the kids at least, and I'm not thinking of my kids when I keep bad blood between us and laugh at her suffering. One part of me doesn't care and believes I'm fine once my kids couldn't see it. Another part of me wonders if I was a jerk to laugh at her. Am I the jerk? As far as when the kid's around, it's good that OP stays completely kind, professional, I guess you could say. But frankly, overall, if you take a step back, as far as your ex goes and the person your ex cheated with, who is also now the stepmom of your kids, you have no obligation to be nice to them, you have no obligation to help them out, and frankly, I don't see how you're going to ever feel good about the prospect of helping out somebody who actively took part in destroying your marriage. Our next story is from us5347751. Am I the jerk? I reported my car missing after my husband took it to attend his brother's wedding. My husband, 35, does not have a car. He sold his old one to help pay for his brother's wedding. I did not agree on this, but he had this car before we got together, so it's a shared property. Besides that, I have my own car, so that didn't affect me, till my husband started complaining about having to commute to work and hangout places. He tried to get me to let him drive my car several times, but I stood firm and put a boundary, making him understand that my car will never be driven by him. One of the reasons why is how bad his driving is. His brother lives out of town. My husband asked if he could drive my car to the wedding, but I refused, but not because I'm not invited, another story for another day, but because, like I said, my car's off limits. He threw a fit, calling me unreasonable to let him take public transportation because he can barely stand it for 10 minutes, let alone hours. I said it wasn't my problem, which irritated him, but made him stop arguing about it. The day that he was supposed to travel out of town, I woke at 10 a.m. and couldn't find my car key. I went outside and couldn't find my car either. I was beyond pissed. I called him, and like I expected, he took it and was on his way to the other town. I lost it and told him I gave him no permission to take it for a whole 5 days, and said that if he won't turn around with it and come home, then I'd call the cops and report it missing. His response was, "You wouldn't dare do it, 'cause you know what would happen." I hung up on him, then immediately called the police and told them about my situation. I did not tell them my husband took it because they'd think it's a family dispute and decide to not get involved. I just reported it missing. 2 hours later, I got a call from my husband saying he was back in town and was being held at our local police station. I went to the station and talked to the cops. My husband made a scene there, swearing over and over that I gave him permission to take it, and said I was acting out of jealousy and spite because he was going to attend a wedding that I was not invited to. I took my car and went home, but he had to stay a little longer. He came home in the evening and went on a rage fit about how I created an awful situation and almost caused him to miss his brother's wedding. He called me vindictive, bitter, and a lunatic to call the police on him and try to accuse him of stealing my car. He had to leave the same day to be able to be there with his family and decided to extend his stay, and he still hasn't gotten back yet. Right now, his mom and brother are blasting me for what happened and calling me spiteful. I wish nothing but the best to OP, but I don't see how this relationship is going to last. It seems completely contentious and cutthroat and downright kind of ugly. I don't think OP's the jerk because they made it clear it's their car, they don't want OP's husband driving it. They went and took it after they explicitly said no. If it's your belongings that you say no to somebody else having or using, and they go and take it anyways, it's stealing and OP's totally in the right. This next story is from AITA Doctor. Am I the jerk for telling my half-sister I don't think she's gonna make it through med school after she said my doctorate means nothing? I, 31-year-old female, have a half-sister Sharon, 25-year-old female. Sharon and I were never super close as I spent most of my time with my dad. And my mom, stepdad, and Sharon were a proper family while I just became the other kid. I didn't mind much because, again, I preferred staying with my dad anyway, but he sadly passed when I was 16. I'm kind of low contact with my family now, but I usually get invited to family events and see them there. and we talk and message occasionally. Also, I have a doctorate, so my title is doctor, important to the issue. There was a big party last night for Sharon recently getting into med school. It was at a restaurant, and there were place cards with everyone's names on the tables. They all said title and full name. I noticed my card said Miss, but I didn't say anything then. Later, when I was talking to Sharon, I just said, "Oh, by the way, I think you might have messed up my card. I'm doctor, not Miss." Sharon said I'm not a real doctor, to which I replied I have a doctorate, so I also go by doctor. She then said that it's not really the same thing. I said again, people who have doctorates are also referred to as doctor, even if they're not in the medical field. Sharon then said I was undermining her achievement and med school's a lot harder, so my doctorate means nothing. I got mad at her constant jabbing, so I told her, if you seriously think calling someone else doctor is undermining your achievement, I don't think you're gonna make it through med school. She sort of huffed and left to talk to someone else. I assume she must have told my mom and stepdad about it, because at the end of the night they came up to me and said I was really rude to Sharon and I didn't need to be jealous. I'm not, but okay. I was just trying to defend myself, but maybe I went too far. Am I the jerk? I don't think OP's the jerk at all. When you earn your doctorate, you're able to assume that title, and I think it's reasonable to expect other people, when at least addressing you by a title, to address you by the proper title. And then they go and instead of just apologizing for it or trying to correct it in any way, they just make it some kind of weird jealousy thing and basically try to undermine OP's title. In my opinion, they're the ridiculous ones here, not OP. Our next story is from Responsible Help 4229. Am I the jerk for keeping a secret storage unit? My wife and I moved in 6 years ago after 3 years of dating. When I moved into her place, she didn't want a lot of my stuff in there because either she had it already or deemed it as junk. She didn't want my posters, my toys or action figures, and a bunch of other things. She wanted me to get rid of it. I tried appealing to her and finding a compromise, but she was unwavering in her stance. I almost gave them away until my friend just told me to put it in a storage unit since it wasn't a lot of stuff and they held significance in my life. They were things I've had since I was an undergraduate and remind me of different times in my life. I've always been nostalgic and never wanted to throw anything out because I feel like these items are memorabilia for another time in my life that will never come back. So everything went into a storage unit. I started with a locker, but now I have a 5x10. Not because I have that much stuff, but because I like to spend some time staying in there and just going down memory lane every now and then. I do it once a month or once every 2 months. I even got things from my parents from my childhood in there. My wife has always been the practical one and never kept things unless they were super important or had major significance in her life. She would honestly just throw out 90% of the things in the unit, if not all. So I always told her that I took care of the things she didn't want to keep, but I did. Even now, when I make purchases I know she won't let me keep, they basically go in the unit. Recently, my wife's been asking our kids to get rid of the toys they no longer play with. But you know kids, they don't want to do that despite the fact that they didn't really care for their old toys. They didn't want to get rid of it either. They were so upset and crying all day. So I basically donated the toys that went untouched most of their lives and were still in good conditions and kept the worn out ones in my unit. I took my kids with me to show them the toys and told them not to worry and I'll take care of the toys for them. When we got home, they were all happy and cheery. When my wife asked them what's up, they spilled the beans. I never told them to keep it a secret, but at the same time, I didn't expect them to squeal. My wife was very angry and demanded to see the unit. I showed it to her, and as expected, she deemed all of it junk and wanted me to get rid of it all. I refused because I'm the one paying for it. We have separate finances, and this doesn't affect her in any way. Now she's not talking to me, and everyone's been bashing me for keeping such a big thing a secret from her. I just wanted my own space/den. I probably shouldn't have hidden it, but I know she would never approve of it, and I didn't want unnecessary tension and drama. Am I the jerk? I don't think OP's the jerk. Admittedly, I don't think they should have kept it a secret, but I think the bigger problem here is OP feeling like they can't be open about this, about their desire or maybe even need to keep these things and hold on to them because of how controlling their spouse is being. I think it tells you a lot that OP would rather go out and pay for a storage locker to hold on to all these things, rather than try to work it out with their wife and find a solution that makes both of them happy. It sounds to me like the wife has a very unhealthy my way or the highway type way of dealing with things, and frankly I feel bad for OP because of that. I'm not an expert here, but to me I think that might be some form of emotional abuse. Our next story is from Engineer This Shoot. Am I the jerk for reminding my uncle that my sister is an engineer? My uncle Dwayne is a realtor, and he was telling everyone how smart he is and how he makes the best money in the family. He was bragging over a Memorial Day weekend at a cookout. I told him my half-sister Jenny is a computer engineer and in fact makes more than him. He started saying he owns his own home. We get into it because I said my sister owns 2 homes. A townhouse in San Francisco and another in Austin, Texas. He was getting angry at me, saying it's not the same thing and here we get more bang for our buck. I told him he's still not the smartest or wealthiest person in the family though. My uncle got super pissed at me and yelled at me, saying I should be better behaved, and tried to get my dad into the argument, and my dad didn't even acknowledge my uncle. My grandma is so angry at my dad and I, saying she'll never invite us over again, or even get me another gift for Christmas or my birthday. I told her that's fine. My sister can afford to get me one from all of my dad's side of the family because we're tight. My grandma and everyone stopped following me on Instagram saying I'm a jerk, but I don't think I did much wrong. Yeah, I think OP's not the jerk here. Very clearly the uncle was feeling insecure, wanted to be the biggest man on campus, so to say, and was upset and frustrated that they just could never be. Sadly, it leaked over into more family members, but I guess that just is how it goes. And our final story of the day is from The Moon's Love. Am I the jerk for walking out of a wedding I was supposed to host? I, 24-year-old female, have been hosting events since I was 18. I sometimes do it with pay, but most of the time I just do it because it's fun. I would usually offer to host events for close friends and family for free. I jokingly ask them to pay me with good food and a good time, and most of the time that's the case. Daisy, 25-year-old female, used to be a good friend of mine, but now we're not that close anymore. A few weeks ago, I heard from one of my best friends that Daisy had been telling people that I would be the host at her sister's wedding reception. She didn't ask me about it up until 2 weeks ago. I wanted to say no, but I'm actually really close with her family and I wanted to do them this favor. I knew her sister was having a small wedding and they wanted to stay under a certain budget. Of course, I wouldn't be paid for this event, but it didn't matter. I sent them the program for approval, but never heard back from them until a day before the wedding. All she said was, "Oh yeah, it was okay," without saying anything else. I felt a little worried about the whole event, but I decided to push through because I'd already agreed. The day of the wedding comes, and Daisy told me to not come to the church and just go straight to the reception venue. I did, and when I arrived, I was immediately being yelled at by the groom's family. From what I was told, they were the groom's aunts. They criticized basically everything about me and told me that I should have dressed better, and now all of their wedding photos would be ruined thanks to me. I was wearing a dress pre-approved by the bride and had just plain makeup. Nothing too crazy since I was just a host. I just lowered my head and didn't say much. I waited until Daisy and her family would arrive. When they did, before I got a chance to tell her what had happened, the groom's family chimed in and complained about, verbatim, how cheap-looking the host they hired was. I expected Daisy to defend me, but she shrugged and said, "The other host we hired canceled on us last minute. Please bear with her, I promise she won't be in the pictures." My jaw dropped when I heard her say that. She ushered all the other guests inside the reception area and left me outside. In my anger, I left the venue without telling anyone. Daisy kept calling me a few minutes after I left, but I didn't answer. A day later, and my phone was being blown up by texts and calls from both the bride and the groom's family, calling me all sorts of names for leaving the event without notice. Now I'm starting to feel bad about what I did. Am I the jerk? You go out of your way for free to do the hosting for this event, and you get treated by the guests like that, and then when presented to the person who was supposed to be able to deal with that, they lie to make themselves look better. I don't think OP's the jerk at all for walking out of that situation. They put no effort into making sure OP felt wanted to be there, considering they were doing it for free. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you want to hear another Am I the Jerk Here story that was even more insane than the ones in this video, click on that left video, or if you missed my latest video, click on the right. But with that said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.